Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. In the last session, we started our discussion related to Sonarqube, and we understood what is a sonar, why we need to go for sonar. Sonar is a code quality checking software. Using this sonar, we can perform code review and we can identify the mistakes done by developers in the code. Okay, the Sonarqube software is developed using Java. Using this, we can review the code of 30 plus programming languages, no problem. As a DevOps engineer, we are responsible to do the code review as part of our build process, and whatever the report is generated, we will share that report with the development team. Development team is responsible to fix those issues. So what kind of issues Sonarqube is going to identify? In the project, Sonar will identify the bugs, Sonar will identify the vulnerabilities, code smells, duplicate code blocks, code coverage also it is going to identify. In the Sonar, there is a concept called quality profiles concept is available. So for every language, there is a quality profile in the Sonar, which is used to perform the code review. And we have quality gate also. Quality gate is used to define the overall code review report. The overall project code review is passed or failed, we can get by using quality gate. And we have done Sonar server setup by using Docker. So we installed Docker in our machine. Using Docker, we have started Sonar server in the Docker container, right? Then we have integrated Sonar server with our Java application by configuring Sonar properties here. Sonar URL, Sonar token we have configured here. Okay, then we are able to do the code review by executing Sonar goal. Then we have seen quality profiles concept. We have to discuss about how to create our own quality profile, how to create our own quality gate in the Sonar. These are the two small topics are pending. So yesterday, after class is completed, I stopped my machine. So Docker container also stopped. I'm not able to access. So let me connect back to this machine. Let me run the container again to access our Sonar server. So let me go back to my key pairs folder. Key pairs. So let me access the git bash. Let me connect back to the machine and run the container. SSH command I need. Copy the SSH command and paste it. Yes, I'm connecting back to the machine in which Docker is available. Using Docker, I will run the Sonar. So let me go with Docker ps-a, the containers which are stopped also we can see. Yes, there is a container which is stopped with this ID. Let me start that container again. Same container I'm starting. Sonarqube is the name of the container. So Docker start, the container name I am giving. So if I create a new container again, I need to do the code review again. Just I want to use the yesterday container. Docker start Sonarqube. Sonarqube container I have started. Let me check it. Docker ps. Yes, my container is running, which is running on the port number 9000. Let me access it. Inside that container, Sonar server will be started. Yes, now I'm able to restart my container and I'm able to access my Sonarqube server. So fine, Sonarqube is up, all systems are up and running. Yes, so I can log in into my Sonar server. Let me use my username and password. Default username is admin only. So I have configured that password. Once you log in first time, it will ask you to reset that password. So I have configured that password again. All right, then let's go back to the projects. Now here yesterday I have cloned one project, guys. Yesterday I have cloned one project. Then we have done the code review of the project. But today the IP address got changed for the project. I mean the Sonar server. Let me edit my IP address. Okay, the machine is restarted. When the machine is restarted, we know that public IP gets changed, right? So I need to change the public IP of my Sonar server. So let me copy its public IP. Instances which are running. copy this public IP, edit it. Yes. Token is same. We copied yesterday. That's good. Change this. Now, let me go here and let me do the build again. So if I go to the project, if I run the build again, then code review will happen again. So if you observe, when the code review happened for this project, if you open this, so when the code review happened for the project, we can see that clearly. The code review happened, last analysis happened July 17th. Today is July 18th. The last time the project analysis has done on the July 17th at 9:17 p.m. So today is July 18th. Now I want to do the code review again. So how can we do the code review again? Simply, we will go and execute one Maven goal. So how we will execute that Maven goal? MVN sonar:sonar. That's it. The Maven goal we are using MVN sonar:sonar, so that it is going to perform the code review and the latest code review report will be generated. It is going to perform the code review and latest code review report will be generated now. Yes, build got success. Code review completed. Now go to the Sonar dashboard and check the project code review. Yes, last analysis happened just now at 8:21 p.m. The last analysis completed for the project. Now if you see the project overview, so the project overview, when you see that, so this project code review completed, by using a quality profile, and by using quality profile and quality gate also it used. But which quality profile it used, you can check the project settings, quality profiles. So this project is, the project code review happened by using Java quality profile. Okay, and so they are using default quality profile available for the project. Now project information, you can see project quality profiles used, the default quality profile used, the default quality gate also used. Project information, if you go to the project, this is my project. If you click on the project information, it will display which quality gate it used and which quality profile it used to perform the code review. And this is the key of the project. And project quality gate, Sonar way. So as we discussed, for every language, one default quality profile will be available, one default quality gate will be available. So this project is reviewed by using the default quality gate and default quality profile. I don't want them. I want to customize the quality profile and the quality gate according to my requirement. So what is the meaning of quality profile in the Sonar? For each programming language, Sonarqube provided one quality profile with a set of rules. For each programming language, Sonarqube provided one quality profile with a set of rules. So what is the meaning of that quality profile? Quality profile means set of rules to perform the code review. So when we are doing the code review, to identify the mistakes, several rules will be available. Set of rules is called as one quality profile. In the Sonarqube, for every language, one quality profile is available. You can create the quality profile according to our requirement also. How to do this? Go to quality profiles, go to the quality profiles. There is an option called create quality profile is available. So these are the default quality profiles. For Java, if you see there is a quality profile is available, the name of the quality profile is Sonar way, which is built in. Built in nothing but Sonarqube only providing that quality profile. Now I want to create my own quality profile. So go to the quality profiles concept, click on create option, extend existing quality profile, copy an existing quality profile, create a blank quality profile. There are several options available. You can choose any option. So you want to extend the properties from existing quality profile, want to create a new quality profile. If you want to extend properties means all the rules which are available in the existing profile I want to add some more new rules also. Then you can go for that. Copy existing profile, parent profile you can use. create blank quality profile. So for Java, I want to create Ashok IT Java profile. Java quality profile. I'm giving the name like this. Ashok IT Java quality profile, a blank profile I'm creating. Click on create. So with this, I created Ashok IT quality profile. Currently, there are 0 rules available. So quality profile means a set of rules only. But in this quality profile, there is no rule available. I want to activate the rules. So activate more rules here. To activate the rules, so you can see equals method should not be used. This is one rule of this one. I want to activate it for my profile. The rules are provided. Predefined rules are available. I want to activate these rules. I want to activate these rules. All right. So like this, I am activating the rules. So when I activate the rules now, you can see for the Java, there are two files available. Sonarqube built-in profile is available. Ashok IT quality profile is available. So which is the default? For every project, the Sonarqube profile will be used. Now I want to change it. Okay. So set it as a default. Now Ashok IT quality profile I am using as a default profile. Now if you perform the code review of this any project code review by using this Sonar for the Java projects, my quality profile will be used. I am making my profile as a default. Earlier, the built-in profile is available as a default. In the built-in profile, 479 rules available. Okay. Today, I have created my own quality profile. For five rules I enable in this profile. I can set my profile as a default profile. Something like this. I made my profile as a default. Okay. Now let me go and do the code review again. Okay. So let me delete this project. Whatever the code review I have done, project setting is available. Deletion. I'm deleting this project. Okay. I will do the fresh code review now. Currently, there is no project available. Quality profiles, if you see, my project is a Java project. For this Java project, I configured my quality profile as a default profile. How we create a profile? Click on create, click on blank. You use your language. For which language you want to create a profile, you give the name and create it. With that, quality profile will be created. You can enable rules also. How to enable the rules? Go to this profile, activate rules. So there are 623 rules inactive, 5 rules are active. They provided the rules, right? Then you click on activate more. So which rule you want to activate, you can click on this one. So that the rule will be activated. So the rules you can activate. They provided all the rules for Java. What are the code rules available? So 623 rules available for Java. Out of these, which rules you want to activate, you can click on this activate button. Then those rules will be activated. Now if you go to Ashok IT profile, 8 rules I have activated. Okay. Now I configure my profile as a default profile. Now let me go and do the code review. MVN sonar:sonar. I created my own quality profile. I activated some rules and I configured my profile as a default profile. I configured my profile as a default profile. Now see what will happen now. Yes, build got success. Okay, now you go to the project, code review completed, passed. Now nothing is there, 0 bugs, 0 codesmans. As per my quality profile, there is no issues in the project because I enabled only 8 rules. As a part of those 8 rules, there is no issue. If I activate all the rules, then it will find the issues. I have activated only 8 rules. As per those 8 rules, there are no issues available. So that's why we are getting 0 issues here. Project information. Now you see which quality profile it is used for Java. Default quality profile used or my custom quality profile used for code review now? Can you guys check it and tell me?
Custom.
Is it using default quality profile or custom quality profile?
Custom, sir.
Custom
Because
quality.
we made it as a default. We made it as a default. Now, for all the Java projects, same quality profile will be used. Okay, sir, I don't want for all the projects. I want to use it for only particular project. So if you see in my quality profiles concept, Ashok IT quality profile I made as a default. What is the meaning of making this as a default? What is the meaning of making this as a default?
Each and every time we run the Java project.
For all the Java projects, it will take the same thing. For all the Java projects, it is going to take the same thing. But I want to do it for all the Java projects. I want to use it only for the particular project. then you do like this. Make this built-in profile as a default. Set this one as a default. Then go to your projects. My project is available. In my project settings, you go to the settings of your particular project, quality profiles. You choose this. You change the profile. Okay. So which profile you want? Default one or specific quality profile. For particular project, you can enable the quality profile. Okay. So if you go to the quality profiles, I'm not making my profile as a default. If I make my profile as a default for all the Java projects, my profile only will be used. I don't want that. My profile, I want to use for particular project only. Then built-in profile I am making as default. Then for particular project, I am changing the profile. How to change the profile for particular project? Go to the project. Go to your project. 1 minute. Projects. Go to the projects. Project settings option available. Go to the settings. Click on profiles. You change the profile. Yes. So default this is. I don't want a default. I want to change it. I'm changing my profile. I'm going to save that. Then for my project, my profile will be used. For other projects, default profile will be used. So you can create a custom quality profile. You can activate the rules. Okay. So you can make your profile default so that it will be used for all the projects. If you don't want to make it as default for all the projects, you can activate that for particular project also. Project specific profiles also you can manage. You got my point? What is the meaning of project specific profiles? Guys, what is the meaning of a project specific profiles?
We can set our own quality profile, sir, to run the.
For particular project, you can set our own quality profile. Okay, same thing applicable for quality gates also. So when you go for quality gate, by default one built-in quality gate is available. The name is Sonarqube. So you can create your own quality gate also. Go to the quality gate. First of all, what is the meaning of quality gate here? Can you read that point? What is the meaning of quality gate?
It provides the pass percentage, sir.
Yes, the overall quality gate, whether the project code is ready to deploy in the production, is it code is production ready or not, will be determined by quality gate. Quality gate is a set of measure-based Boolean conditions. Quality gate is a set of measure-based Boolean conditions. It helps you to know immediately whether your projects are production ready or not. Okay, good. So some set of conditions will be available. What are the conditions? So whenever you are going for quality gate, so the conditions available. If the coverage on the new code, conditions on the new code, existing code is available, whenever you write some code, new code in the project, if the new code coverage is less than 80%, if duplicate line is greater than 3%, maintainability rating is worse than A, readability rating worse than A, security hotspots less than 100%, security rating worse than A. If these conditions are satisfied, your quality gate will be failed. So this is the default quality gate. You can create your own quality gate also. Go to create option. You can give the name for the quality gate. I'm giving the name as Ashok IT quality gate. Click on save. So I have created my own quality gate. So in my own quality gate, some conditions are available. You can change the conditions. If it is less than coverage on the new code, if it is less than 80%, then quality gate will be failed. Duplicate lines of code. If 2% of code is duplicate, then I want to make it as failed. So like this, you can create your own quality profile and you can set this quality profile as a default quality gate. So Sonarqube is default and my profile is available. Built-in nothing but already provided by the Sonarqube. This is my quality profile. I am making my profile as a default, my quality gate as default. Now, when we do the code review, let me delete this project setting deletion. So now I have updated quality profile. I have updated quality gate. Now let me do the code review. Sonar. So this time the project code review process will happen with my quality profile, with my quality gate. Custom quality profile, custom quality gate we have used. customization. If required, you can go with this. And currently we are using free version of the Sonar. When you purchase the license, enterprise version of the Sonar, more customization, we can create our own rules also. Right, code review completed. Then go to the projects. Project quality gate is passed. 1 vulnerability, 10 code smells. Open this one. Project information. Okay. Quality gate. Default quality profile used and Ashok IT quality gate is used. So we are able to use our own quality gate. Quality profile, why this one? Which quality profile? Oh, default quality profile we used. Let me use my own quality profile. Save this one. Let me do the code review again. Quality profile I want to use custom. Gate also I want to use custom. Let me do the code review again. The goal I am using Sonar : Sonar. Yeah. Now go to the project. Check this. Open this one. Project information. Now can you see what is the quality gate it used? What is the quality profile it used to do the code review now? What is the quality gate it used? What is the quality profile it used to do the code review now?
This is our customized quality gate. That is also quality gate.
Quality profile is also custom. Quality gate is also custom.
Yes. So without deleting previous project, we can trigger Sonar like you previously did. You
Sorry,
deleted the
can you
project
come
and
again?
like
Just I have
previously you
deleted to
deleted the
do the
project,
code
then
review
you
again. Generally, we don't delete it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So with this, I hope you understand what is the Sonarqube, why we need to go for Sonarqube, and how to work with the Sonarqube.
Sir, rules, who will provide that, or we have to make?
So development team will take care of the rules part, sir. If any modifications are required, because the rules are related to programming partner, programming manager will take care of the rules.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, now you can read these points related to quality profiles and quality gate. Can you read these points once? For each programming language, Sonarqube provided one quality profile with a set of rules. Quality profile means set of rules to perform the code review. We can create our own quality profile based on the project requirement. Okay. Quality gate, it will represent a set of metrics to identify project quality is passed or failed. Every project quality gate should be passed. In Sonar, we have default quality gate. If required, we can create our own quality gate also. Then what is the conclusion, guys? Can you read the conclusion points?
If it is the code is getting errors, the build trigger will be stopped, sir. At the
Right,
time.
so we need to stop the deployment. If the quality gate is failed, we need to stop the deployment.
Yeah, we need to stop manually or the Jenkins.
No, in the Jenkins, we'll write a condition.
Okay, if condition will write. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a small question, sir. Sir, actually, you told that based on the particular project also, we can set the profile as default, and for the other projects, we might choose the built-in quality profiles also, right, sir? So, for suppose, how do we judge that? I mean, how we come to know that this particular project we need to use the custom
Project managers will decide that, sir. Project development manager will decide what is the quality rules we need to follow.
So before the command execution itself, I mean, like MPN sonar: before the command execution itself, do we set that this particular project is a custom?
Yes, they will define that. For this project, we need to go with the default profile or custom profile.
But once you executed that MBN sonar: then we are going to that project settings and we are changing the profile, right, sir? And then before execution of MAVN sonar: how do we change that, sir?
No, you can't change that, sir. You need to make your profile as a default there.
So once we execute, then we need
Then
to.
you can go and change in the project level.
So again, then 2 times we need to execute it, right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, good guys. So with this, we completed one tool called Sonar. And here in the real time, are we going to configure Sonar server like this in the project, guys?
No, sir.
Are we going to configure Sonar server like this in the project?
No.
No. Then how we will configure Sonar server in the project?
Through CI/CD pipeline, sir.
Sorry?
Jenkins. we
Through
will get the
Jenkins, sir.
In pipeline.
step.
Through
Through
Jenkins
pipeline.
pipeline, we are
Yeah.
going to configure Sonar server in the project. Okay, perfect. Next one. So as part of the Sonar, we understood the summary. What is a Sonarqube? What is a code review? How to set up Sonar server in the Linux machine. So how Sonar server setup using Docker. Okay, Sonar server integration in the Maven project. How to generate a token in the Sonar, and what type of issues the Sonar will identify, and what is the quality profile in the Sonar, what is the quality gate in the Sonar. We understood these concepts. Okay, so integrating Sonar with the Jenkins, that is pending. When we create the final pipeline, then we will integrate Sonar also in the Jenkins pipeline. Right. Next one, another important tool as part of our DevOps, which is Artifactory server. Another important tool for us as part of the DevOps, which is called Artifactory server. So we are going to use Nexus as Artifactory server, guys. We are going to use Nexus repository as Artifactory server. So first of all, any idea what is the meaning of Nexus? Any idea what is the meaning of Nexus?
Group. Artifactory tool.
What is the meaning of Artifactory?
We can store
A library.
our
We will
artifacts like
store the
our-
library there.
It's
So
a-
we are going to use a tool called Sonartype Nexus. Sonartype is the company which developed this Nexus software. Sonartype is a company which developed this Nexus software. So what is this Nexus software? Nexus is OSS software, nothing but it is open source software, and this Nexus is free of cost. Nexus is an open source software which is called as OSS, and this Nexus is free of cost. Nexus, it is used as Artifactory repository server. It is used as Artifactory repository server. Okay, so it is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts. It is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts. All right. So what is the meaning of Nexus and why we are going to use the Nexus? Nexus is an open source software which is called as OSS software, and it is free of cost. This Nexus is used as Artifactory repository server, and it is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts. Okay, and again, this Nexus also developed by using Java. Nexus software developed using Java language. So whatever the tools we have seen as of now, Maven developed using Java, Tomcat developed using Java, Sonarqube developed using Java, Nexus also developed using Java. Okay, Java is very powerful language. So all these softwares, whatever the DevOps tools that we are using, most of these DevOps tools are developed by using Java language only. Nexus software is also developed by using Java language. Okay, so here Nexus is an open source software which is called as OSS, and it is free of cost. It is used as Artifactory repository server. It is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts. Nexus software developed using Java language. Okay, so now the current version of the Nexus is 3.x version. The current version of Nexus is 3.x. The current version of Nexus is 3.x. Now, so what is the meaning of Artifactory servers? It is used to store and retrieve project artifacts. What is the meaning of that? So project jar files, project war files, Docker images, etc. All these things are comes under project artifacts. Whenever we do the project build, okay, jar files will be created, war files will be created, and we are going to build the Docker images. All these jar files, war files, Docker images, we are going to store in the Nexus repository. We are going to store in the
Business
Nexus
cases also.
repository. Sorry?
Business cases also, business cases like requirements, business cases, this also comes under artifacts.
No, sir. No. Project
Sir,
artifacts. Whenever we build the project, jar file or war file will be created, right? That jar file or war file we are going to store in the Nexus repository. Okay.
Sir, Nexus is same like JFrog.
Yes, the alternate tool for the Nexus is a JFrog. So some projects will use Nexus, some projects will use JFrog to store the project artifacts.
Some of the bank domains are asking for the Red Hat Artifactory also, sir. What is that actually?
I mean, multiple artifacts are available. These are famous. Note. So the alternate for Nexus is JFrog.
Is the
So some
JFrog is
projects
paid?
will use JFrog repository to store the project artifacts. Some projects are using Nexus to store the project artifacts.
So is the JFrog is open source or paid?
Yeah, it is also open. I mean, so these are trial versions are available, and community versions and paid versions are available.
I see your one video. You very nice explain to the JFrog in this video.
JFrog I have explained.
Yes, I don't know which video, but last time I'll see your video, this video. You very nice explain the JFrog in this video.
I don't know. I forgot. I need to check where is that video.
Yes, sir, you
Okay.
very nice you explain this JFrog.
Okay, we'll see that. Okay, good guys. So you got the basic idea. What is Nexus and what is the purpose of Nexus? Nexus is one of the open source software and it is free of cost. This Nexus software is used as Artifactory repository server, and this Nexus is used to store and retrieve our project build artifacts like jar files, war files, project Docker images we can store in this Nexus repository. This Nexus software is developed by using Java language. And the current version of the Nexus is 3.x version, and the alternate for the Nexus software is JFrog in the market. And now, can you tell me what is the difference between Nexus and GitHub, Nexus repo and Git repo?
GitHub, sir, it is a source code, but without building, like with build.
It is a distributed.
What is the difference between
system.
Nexus repository and GitHub repository, guys?
GitHub
Sir,
repository store our source code, where Nexus repository stored the
GitHub is
whatever
a
the
public
library is
repository.
there.
GitHub is a SCM software which is used to store the source code of the project. You got my point. GitHub is a SCM software which is used to store source code of the project. Whereas Nexus is Artifactory repository which is used to store build artifacts. Okay, the developers will write the code. The source code of the project will be stored in the GitHub repository or Bitbucket repository. Once the code is built, whenever you do the build process, whenever you build that code, a jar file or war file will be created, right? That jar file or war file we are going to store in the Nexus. So GitHub is called as source code repository, whereas Nexus is called as artifactory repository. GitHub is called as a source code repository. GitHub is a source code repository server, whereas Nexus is artifactory repository server. Okay, when we should store project artifact into Nexus? When we should store project artifact into Nexus? Okay, so after build completion, before deployment, after build and before deployment. So we are doing the Maven build, then the project jar file or war file will be created. That jar file or war file we need to store before deploying into server. Right. So when we should store project artifact into Nexus? The project artifact will store into Nexus after build and before deployment. After build and before deployment, we are going to store the project artifact into Nexus repository. Are you clear? I hope you got the clarity. What is the meaning of artifacts and why we should store the artifacts in the repository server? The artifacts we are storing in the repository for the backup purpose. Artifacts, project artifacts will be stored. Project artifacts will be stored in Artifactory repository server for backup purpose. So tomorrow, when I want to get it back, then I can take it from the Nexus repository and I can deploy that. Nexus is an open source software and which is free of cost. It is used as Artifactory repository server and it is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts. So jar files, war files, Docker images, you can store in the Nexus repository. Project artifacts will be stored into Artifact repository server for the backup purpose. This Nexus software developed using Java language. The current version of the Nexus is 3.x version. The alternate for the Nexus is JFrog. What is the difference between Nexus repository and GitHub repository, guys? GitHub is a SCM software which is used to store source code of the project. GitHub is SCM. Nexus is an artifact repository server which is used to store project build artifacts. Basically, jar files, war files we are going to store in the Nexus. So when we should store the artifact into Nexus? Once the project build completed, before the deployment, we are going to do this one. After build completion, before deployment, we are going to store the artifact into project. All right. Now, how to set up the Nexus? So we can set up the Nexus also by using Docker container. I'm stopping my Sonar machine. Okay. So here I have given a GitHub document. We can run the Nexus official Docker image available as it is a free of cost. Nexus we can run by using Docker image. So this is the document where we can set up the Docker and we can run Nexus as a Docker container. All right, Nexus is set up. Can we use the same machine? Can we use the same machine which Sonar server is running? Guys, can we use the same machine where the Sonar server is running in that already?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If
Yes,
Can we
sir.
run two
port is
containers in
different,
the same machine?
if the port
Yes.
is different, we can do so.
Yeah,
The
port is
same.
different. Sonar will
Yeah.
run on the 9000 port number. Nexus will run on the port number 8081.
Yeah.
Nexus
so we
server will
can
run
do
on the
it.
port number 8081. If you want, you can create a separate machine. In that also same process. You install the Docker first. Then once the Docker is installed, then you need to run the Docker image. So what is the image of this Nexus? Sonar type Nexus 3 is the image. This is Sonarqube will run based on the port number 8081. Port number we are mapping to 8081. Instead of taking the different machine, I will go with the same machine. Just now I have stopped it. Let me start it again. Okay, if you want, you can create a different machine and you can install the Docker. In that, once the Docker software is installed, then you can run the Nexus as another Docker container. In one machine, 2 containers also we can run. There is no problem. I'm starting the same machine. Let me change this machine type now. Machine name I'm going to change. Instance is running. Yeah, let me change this. DevOps server. Because in the single machine, but in the real time we don't do like this, guys. We don't run 2 servers in the same machine. Okay, but for our practice, I'm doing this one. Once this machine is started, let's connect with this machine. Go to SSH command, then connect with this machine. In this machine, the only reason to use the same machine, Docker is already installed in this machine. The only reason to use this, Docker software is already available in this machine. Now Docker PS. Now can you check it? Any container is running in this machine? No. Currently, no container is running in this machine. Containers are not running in this machine. Now let me run the Docker container for the Nexus. This is the command. Docker run -d -p port mapping with 8081. Name of the Docker image, no, Docker container Nexus, Docker image, Sonarqube /Nexus 3. This is the official Docker image to run the Nexus as a Docker container. Let me copy this command. Go to this one and let me execute it. So with this command, we are downloading Nexus Docker image and we are running that Docker image so that Docker container will be created. If you see, the container is running on the port number 8081. In the host machine also, I am mapping the port number to 8081. So we will go and enable that port number in our machine security group inbound rules. Go to our machine. Sonar port number is 9000. Nexus port number is 8081. Go to the security group. Click on this security group ID. Click on the security group ID. Let me click on edit inbound rules. Okay. Add the rule custom TCP 8081. Anywhere IPv4, click on save the rules. Yes, the security group inbound rules got updated. Security group inbound rules got updated. Yes, perfect. Now, once it is done, let me go and access my Nexus repository server. So take the public IP of your machine, port number 8081, :8081. Perfect. Sonarqube Nexus repository is loading. Easily we have configured the Nexus by using Docker image. So which version of Nexus we are using? Sonarqube Nexus repository 3.70. 3.x version of Nexus repository we are using. Click on sign in. It is asking username and password. Here little tricky, guys. The password is available in the Nexus repository server. This is the file, Nexus data admin password. But actually, we connected to the host machine. Nexus is running in the host machine, or Nexus is running in the container machine now?
Container.
Nexus is running in the container. We should go inside the container to get the password. We should go inside the container to get the password. How to go inside the container? Docker PS command will tell you what is the containers are running. So you go inside the container by using exec with the container ID. Then you execute this command. It will give you the password of the Nexus. Okay. Here little tricky step is available. So check the containers which are running. Docker PS command. Container name is Nexus. So how to go inside the container? Docker exec-it, name of the container /bin/bash. Now I entered into the container. Once I entered into the container, I need to get the password. This is the command to get the password. Cat, sorry, not this one. Go to git bash. Cat, sorry, what is this command? Let me copy this command. Cat Nexus data admin.password. Admin data cat Nexus data /admin.password. So it is giving the Nexus password. One small problem, guys. Password and bash is printing on the same line. Okay. You need to copy this password before bash keyword. Okay. So this is bash terminal command is there. Na? So password is also printing on the same line. you just take up to bash only. Before bash is your Nexus password. Take this password and username is admin. Your admin user password located here. Username is admin. Give that as admin and give the password. We copied from there. Click on sign in. Once we sign in, it is asking you to change the password. New password, confirm password. I'm giving my new password and I'm giving my confirm password. Click on setup. Enable anonymous access. Okay, next, finish. So with this, my Nexus repository setup is completed. I signed out. Click on sign in again. Now I can sign in with my new password. First time we need to copy the password from the Nexus repository server. So you need to first you need to take one machine. In that machine you need to install the Docker. Then once the Docker is installed, you can download the Nexus image and you can run the image by using Docker run command. Once it is done, then you can enable the port number. Nexus repository will use port number 8081. Host port, container port. Port mapping is done. Once it is done, you get the Nexus password from the container. For that, we are using this Docker PS command. It will display what all the containers running. Then we need to go inside the container. For that, we are using Docker exec command. We'll go inside that container. Then we will execute this command to get the password. When you are copying the password, be careful. Don't copy it till the end. Before bash, whatever is available, you need to copy this password. Before bash, your password is available. Enter that password and log in. When you log in first time, it is going to ask you to reset that password. When you go and log in, it will ask you to reset the password. Once your password reset is completed, then you can log into the Nexus repository. So with this, our Nexus setup is completed. So very simple setup we are doing by following this GitHub repository document. Nexus setup is completed. Nexus will run on the port number 8081 and we are able to update that port. We are able to enable that port and we are able to access that port number. Is this clear for all of you? What is Nexus? Why Nexus? What is the difference between GitHub repository and the Nexus repository? And how to do the Nexus setup, Nexus repository setup? Is it clear for all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So can you put a light on why Nexus one more time, please?
Sorry?
Can you put a light on why Nexus one more time?
Can you read this point? Whenever we are building the project, for our project, a jar file or war file will be created, right? Before deploying that jar file or war file, we are going to.
We are maintaining the version of the WAR file or jar
Yes,
file.
we can maintain
as
the
well?
version of the war files as a backup. Because if something happened with the latest deployment, if something wrong with the latest deployment, then you can go and take that backup and you can use it.
We're not going to do like commit and stuff like that. We do
No,
all
no.
we do in the GitHub, right?
All the backups we can maintain in the Nexus repository.
So this is for only backup purpose. We are not fetching the jar in other
Generally,
pipeline.
you can store in the back. You can store in the Nexus whenever you are deploying. You can take it from the Nexus also for the deployment purpose.
Can you put the steps you take down on the notes?
Sorry?
The steps you take, can you put it down on the note?
What steps? Installation steps already there in the repo. If you click this URL, you can see all the steps for the installation. Git repository available. Okay, fine guys. Next one, working with Nexus repository.
So one
Okay, we
question.
understood.
If you try to store any other file other than jar or war, it will store or not?
It will store, sir. Any file you can store. You can store
Okay.
any file, but in the real time, we will use this one to store the
Particularly,
jar war files,
particularly for
Docker
jar and
images.
war. Yeah.
You
Got
can
it.
store any type of file also, no problem.
Got it.
You can store any type of file. Okay. Next one. Working with Nexus repository. Working with Nexus repository. Right? So if you go to Nexus server, repository section will be available, guys. So inside the Nexus, I want to store my project repositories, right? My project artifacts I want to store in the Nexus. In the Nexus, we are going to create repositories. We can create two types of repositories in the Nexus to store project artifacts. In the Nexus server, we can create two types of repositories to store project artifacts. Okay, in the Nexus server, we can create two types of repositories to store project artifacts. One is called as snapshot repository. Second one is called as release repository. So when we go for the Nexus, in the Nexus server, we can create two types of repositories, guys. In the Nexus server, we can create two types of repositories to store project artifacts. What are those two types of repositories? One is called as snapshot repository. Another one is called as release repository. Sir, what is the difference between this snapshot repository and release repository? So if you see project, form.xml will be available. So some projects are under development, some projects development already completed. So that is the difference between snapshot and release. If projects are under development, ongoing development projects artifacts will be stored in the snapshot repository. That means your project is under development. Still coding is going on. Project is not completed. If a project is under development, then the project build artifacts will be stored into snapshot repository. Are you guys able to follow me? What is the meaning of snapshot repository? In the Nexus server, we can create two types of repositories to store project artifacts. What are those two types of repositories, guys? One is called as snapshot repository. Another one is called as release repository. One is called as snapshot repository. Another one is called release repository. So if you go for snapshot, what is the meaning of snapshot? If a project is under development, then the project build artifacts will be stored into snapshot repository. If a project is development completed and we are going for the production, then we are going to store those artifacts into release repository. We are going to store them into release repository. Able to follow me? If a project is under development, then that project build artifacts will be stored into snapshot repository. If a project development already completed and released it to production, then the project build artifacts will be stored into release repository. Able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me?
Sir.
Good. But here, how project will understand that is should go to snapshot repository or release repository? Here in the form.xml, project version will be available. So if you see, our Maven project is available. In the Maven project, we have a concept called form.xml. So when we go to this form.xml, when we edit this form.xml, if you see the form.xml, can you see our project version? Okay, our project group ID, project artifact ID, project version is available. In the project version, if the snapshot keyword is available, snapshot means this project is under development. If the project version contains a snapshot keyword, then that project artifact will be stored into snapshot repository. Once the project development completed, then I'm going to change the version from snapshot to release 1.0. Okay, if the version tag contains a release, then that means the project is completed. Then the project artifact will go to release repository. Okay, based on the version name available in the form.xml, it will decide the artifact should go to snapshot repository or release repository. Based on version name available in the project pom.xml file, it will decide artifact should be stored into which repository. So if the version name contains a snapshot, then it will go to snapshot repository. Suppose, for example, if I have version like this 0.0.1-snapshot, something like this, then what is the meaning of this? It will store into, it will go to snapshot repository.
So maintaining that version is developer's job.
Developers will change that. Yeah. Okay. Version snapshot. Initially, when the project is created, the version will be available as a snapshot only. If it is snapshot, it will go to snapshot repository. Once the project development is completed, once the project is going to the production, they will change this to first release of the project. Then the version will be updated to release. When the version is updated to release, then it will go to release repository. Then we will go to release repository. Version snapshot, version release will be available. Snapshot means it will go to snapshot repository. Release means it will go to release repository. So you got the clarity? What is the meaning of snapshot repository and release repository? When to use which repository?
So every dependency has its own version, right? So we have to
No,
change.
it is not a dependency version. It is a project version. Every dependency will have its own version. I'm not talking about that. Project will have its version. So this is dependency version. So this is project version.
Based on the changes.
Yes. Project will have its own version. Whenever you create a Maven project, it will have a group ID, it will have artifact ID, it will have a version. So it depends upon the project version.
Okay. Just
Not dependency
one
version.
place we have to change it.
You got my point?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
But sir, this is a release version, right? Release 1.0.
Yeah, I changed it. Earlier it
We
was
just
snapshot,
changed
now I
it to
changed it to
release.
release.
It was a snapshot earlier.
First time, whenever you create a Maven project, it will come as a snapshot only. So that means the project is under development. Once the development is completed, then you can update the version to release. So that it will go to release repository.
We no need to do it manually, so it will go into release or
it will identify.
itself.
You just need to push the repository. You need to push your artifact repository. Whenever you are pushing the artifact repository, it will identify based on the version. Automatically, the tool will identify. So it is version is snapshot or release. Based on that, it will store into release repository or snapshot repository.
Right.
Okay.
Sir, who is developed this snapshot repository?
No, sir. We need to create these repositories. Now we have started our Nexus server, right? In this Nexus server, we should create two repositories. One repository will create with the snapshot, another repository will create with the release. So whenever we are pushing the artifact to the Nexus, based on the project version, it will store that repository into snapshot or release based on the version value. If the version contains a snapshot keyword, it will go to the snapshot repository. If a version contains release, you can go to the release repository. You can maintain two repositories: snapshot repository, release repository.
The versions is created by developers, sir?
Yes, sir. Whenever you create project, by default it will come snapshot. Once the development completed, developer will change the version to release. You can also change it in the pom.xml, because whenever you are taking the Git repository, you will manage the Git repositories as a DevOps engineer. You can go and you can also edit the version, no problem. Anybody can change it.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
If it is deploying from the Jenkins, also the same, sir. Actually.
If you are deploying from the Jenkins, directly repository fixed URL will configure. You want to store into which repository, you can configure that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So this platform now you are, where you change the release.
Yes, it was earlier, it is available like this, sir.
Yeah.
Now I change it to like this.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, if we are using people are not using, people are using mobile testing. Are we to catch it to come to this platform?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, good guys. So I hope you got the clarity. What is the difference between snapshot repository and release repository in the Nexus? Are you guys clear with the snapshot repository and release repository in the Nexus?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's create them. Let us create these repositories in the Nexus. Okay. Let me go here. Once you go to the Nexus, there is the option called sign in option. Go to sign in, give the username, my username and my password I am giving. I will sign in. So once you signed in into the Nexus, here can you see there is a settings option. Server administration and configuration option is available. Can you guys see the settings button now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you see the settings button now? Yes,
Yes, sir.
settings button is available. When you go for the settings button, there is the option called repositories option is available. So here, currently, is there any repository available with our institute name, Ashok IT repository, something like this? No.
No,
So
sir.
these all are the predefined repositories which are available. Now I want to go and create my own repository. I want to go and create my own repository here. Click on create repository. So when you are creating the repository, you need to select the option in order to create the repository. So to create this one, we are going to select Maven to hosted repository here. Maven to hosted repository we are selecting a unique identifier for the repository. I'm giving the name as Ashok IT snapshot repo. You can give any name. For the readability, I'm giving the name as Ashok IT snapshot repository version policy snapshot version. That means which version artifact you want to store in this one. Version policy I'm giving as a snapshot. Okay, layout policy strict. Then so that's it. Just I'm giving the name and I'm giving the version policy as a snapshot, and I will click on create repository. Deployment policy disable redeploy. So I'm going to allow the redeploy. That means multiple times I want to upload the artifacts into the repository. So redeployment also I am allowing. Deployment policy allow the redeploy. Click on create repository. So with this, Ashok IT snapshot repository got created. You can copy this URL. If you click on this, the snapshot repository URL can be copied. Copy this URL, you can keep it. Okay. So snapshot repo URL. I'm configuring. Similarly, I want to create release repository URL also. Create one more repository called release repository. Go to repository section. There is a button called create repository available. Maven hosted repository. Okay. Ashok IT underscore release underscore repo. I'm taking this. So version policy release I'm giving as it is. Then allow the redeployment. Click on create repository. So with this, Ashok IT release repository also created. Copy that URL also. Take this URL and keep it. Yes, just the names are different. This is snapshot repository URL and this is my release repository URL. Snapshot repository URL is available. Release repository URL is available. Okay.
So
You
these
can keep
URLs
them.
are public?
Sorry?
These URLs are public or
Currently these are public. Currently these are public. Okay. Fine. Next, once these repository URLs are created, how we will integrate our Nexus repository in the Maven project. Currently, we are going to do manual integration. Okay, Sonarqube also, how we integrated in the Maven project. Manually, we integrated the Sonar in the Maven. But in the real time, they will be integrated in the Jenkins pipeline. First, we are going to see manual integration. Then later, we will see Jenkins integration. First, how to do this Maven integration. Integrate Nexus repository with our Maven project. Okay. So before going for this integration itself, we configured this Nexus repository and we created snapshot repository. We have taken the snapshot repository URL and we have taken this release repository URL also. Then what we need to do here, Nexus repository details, we will configure in the pom.xml like below. When you go to the pom.xml, in the pom.xml, we need to configure repository section and we need to configure snapshot repository section. So repository tag represents release repository directly. Snapshot repository section will represent snapshot repository URL. Whatever the URLs we have taken, release repository URL, you take it and you configure that URL here. Okay, and take the release URL, you configure release URL here, and you take the snapshot URL and you configure snapshot URL here. That's it. So in the pom.xml file, we will write one tag called distribution management tag. In that distribution management tag, we are going to configure our repository details. Okay. How to integrate our Nexus repository with the Maven application. How to integrate Nexus repository details with the Maven application. So to integrate Nexus repository details with the Maven application, inside the Maven project pom.xml file, we are going to write a tag like this, distribution management. Inside the distribution management, we will write the repository section, which will contain release repository details, and we will write snapshot repository section, which will contain snapshot repository URL. That's it. And in order to upload the artifact to this repository, credentials are required. So we will configure Nexus server credentials in the Maven configuration settings.xml. Okay, so these are the repository details. That is fine. But anybody cannot upload to this repository, right? My repository having the username and password, credentials available. So you need to configure Nexus server credentials in the Maven settings.xml. So my Maven location is available in the C drive inside the Maven conf folder. Okay, inside the Maven my conf folder is available. Go to my C drive. Okay, inside the C drive my Maven software is available in the program files somewhere. Apache Maven available. In the Apache Maven conf is available. Inside the conf folder settings.xml file is available. We configured Maven home. We will install the Maven in the Windows and we will configure the Maven home, right? So inside the Maven home, the settings.xml file will be available. So you need to open this settings.xml file. Inside the settings.xml file, server's details will be available. Inside the server details, we need to configure our server information. Inside the server details, we need to configure our server's information. Okay, so this is the point. Two things, two places we need to make the changes, guys. One is in the pom.xml file, we need to configure our repository details. And in the Maven settings.xml, we need to configure our Nexus credentials. How we will configure the Nexus credentials? So in settings.xml file, under server stack, we need to add the server details like this. Nexus ID of this is Nexus because here repository ID is Nexus. Here repository ID is Nexus. Here also we are configuring server ID Nexus. Username is admin. My password is admin@123. So like this, we are going to configure the Nexus server credentials in the servers section. Nexus server details we are going to configure in the server section in the pom.xml. Once these details are configured, then we can run MVN deploy goal. So earlier we will use MVN clean package, MVN install, MVN sonar::sonar. Now if you execute the goal clean deploy, then it will build your project and it is going to compile test package install deploy goal. It is going to execute. Deploy goal means your project artifact will be uploaded to Nexus repository. If your project pom.xml version is a snapshot, artifact will go to snapshot repository. If your project version is release, that artifact will be uploaded to release repository. So in the integration, step 1, the first step, what we need to do in the integration, step 1, Nexus repository details will configure in the pom.xml file like below. Step 2, Nexus server credentials will be configured in the Maven settings.xml. This is the Maven location in my system. We will configure like this. And step 3, once these details are configured, then we can run Maven goal to upload the build artifacts. What is the Maven goal? Clean deploy goal we are going to use. so that when you execute clean deploy, it will do the compilation, it will do the test, it will do the package, it will install, it will deploy. The project artifact will be uploaded to Nexus repository. Are you guys able to understand this?
So in case we have not installed Maven in our local system,
You have to install, sir. If you want to do it from the Windows, you have to install it. Either if in the Windows or Linux, you have to install the Maven. Suppose if you are doing from the Jenkins, then this configuration is not required. When you include the Nexus repository in the Jenkins pipeline, this is manual process. So in the project automation, first, if you understand the manual process, then it will be easy for you to understand the automation process. In the Jenkins pipeline, we are going to automate this.
got it.
Sir, somewhere I have seen that the settings.xml file under M2 folder.
Yeah, you can keep in the M2 folder or you can keep in the Maven home directory. Anything is fine.
Okay.
Okay. Can we try this now? So these are my latest repository URLs. Let me go to my Maven project, guys.
Sir, is there any chance for writing like that different environment to create a dev?
So in the manual process, you can't do, sir. In the automation, you can configure in which URL you want to upload it.
No. Actually, I'm asking for the repository purpose. Dev, we need to create one dev. We need to create one UAT. Like that, need to create. Is there?
No, sir. Generally, in the real time, non-prod, prod, two URLs will be available. Non-prod and prod.
Okay.
Guys, let me go to my pom.xml file. I'm editing the pom.xml. Okay. Before dependencies section, after properties, before dependencies, my Sonar properties I'm removing because Sonar server I have stopped it. I'm not using Sonar now. I'm removing the Sonar properties. Then I'm going to configure my dependency management properties. Nexus repository details I am configuring. Take this distribution management. Let me configure my Nexus repositories. Just above the dependencies section, I'm configuring my distribution management. Okay. Inside the distribution management, I configured one is a direct repository, which represents release repository. ID is Nexus. Another one is a snapshot repository. What is the version of the project now, guys? Line number 13, can you see what is the version? Line number 13, can you see what is the version available?
Snapshot.
Snapshot. So what is the meaning of that? It will go to which location? Snapshot repository. So first step I have completed. What is the first step? Nexus repository servers, Nexus repository, Nexus repos details we will configure in the pom.xml file like below. Then what is the second step? Nexus server credentials will configure in the Maven settings.xml. For this, Maven setup should be done in the Windows. Have you done Maven setup in the Windows?
No.
Have you done Maven setup in the Windows?
We'll try in Linux, sir. No problem, sir.
You can try in the Linux. Okay, fine. So if you want to do Maven setup in the Windows, I have some video in the YouTube.
Okay.
You go to our YouTube
So
channel.
that line number 88, the URL is fixed or it's keep changing?
Maven setup in Windows. I am giving Apache Maven setup in the Windows here, guys. So within 8 minutes, I have explained how to do the Maven setup in the Windows. Let me give this video URL. Maven setup in Windows. If you don't know how to do the Maven setup, I'm giving this. You can download Maven. You can configure Maven home. So Maven setup in the Windows video I have given. So once you have done this Maven setup, you go to Maven conf directory. You go to the conf directory and you configure settings. Okay. Inside the Maven conf, settings folder will be available. Conf settings file will be available. In the settings file, server will be available. Servers will be available. Inside the servers, you add the server. Whatever the ID you are giving here, with the same ID, we are configuring the credentials. Take these details. Go to Maven home config, Maven home conf directory, settings.xml. Open the settings.xml. Go to the servers section. Here, servers section will be available. Yes. Inside the servers section, these all are commented lines. Just above the server section, I'm adding the server. What is the ID? ID I'm giving as a Nexus. Okay. Username is admin. Password is admin@123. So with this, I configure my Nexus credentials in the Maven settings.xml. Once it is done, now let me go to my project. Let me go to my project and let me execute Maven goal. Before executing the Maven goal, let's go to our repository, search option, go to this Sonarqube Nexus. In the settings option, we created the repository, release repository, snapshot repository. Go to this browse option, go to this browse. In this browse, Ashok IT release repository, currently nothing available in the release repository. Ashok IT snapshot repository, currently nothing is available in the snapshot repository. So if you go to this Nexus, browse settings option is used to create the repository. Go to browse option. In the browse, you can select the snapshot. Currently, no components available in the snapshot. So if you go to the browse and you check the release repository, no option available in the release repository. So then what we can do, you can go to this Maven project. We already configured the pom.xml. All these two steps I completed. I configured repository details in the pom.xml and I configured my Nexus credentials in the Maven. Then I'm going to execute mvn clean deploy so that we will check really our artifact is uploading to Nexus or not. Okay, so let me do mvn clean deploy. Let me do mvn clean deploy to understand whether artifact is going to the Nexus or not. Yeah, project build is happening. When you execute clean deploy, it will execute compile goal, it will execute a test goal, package goal, install goal, then deploy goal. Finally, our project should be deployed. That artifact should be deployed into Nexus. Yes, it is connected with the Nexus server, downloading from the Nexus. Whatever the jar file is created, it is trying to upload the jar file to the Nexus. Uploading to the Nexus. Now you can see uploading to the Nexus. So my project is connected with the Nexus server. It is uploading that artifact into Nexus. Yes, build got success. Successfully, we are able to upload the project artifact into Nexus server. Our build got success. Now go here, go to the repository, browse. Now you see snapshot repository. The version is a snapshot. Go to snapshot repository. Earlier, there is no component available in the snapshot repository. Earlier, there is no concept available in the snapshot repository. Now in the snapshot repository, version 01 snapshot available. In this 01 snapshot, our project jar file is uploaded. So if you click on this path, the project jar file will be downloaded. So now in the Nexus snapshot repository, if you observe, my project jar file is uploaded, which is called artifact. Are you able to understand?
So why this many files uploaded?
Yeah, these are the Maven MD files. So these are internal for the Maven. We will bother about only this file, which is the final jar. Okay. Suppose if I want to upload to the release repository, currently, do we have anything in the release repository? When I check the release repository, is there anything available in the release repository? No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, so after some time, my project code got changed. When my project code is changed, what we need to do? We need to change the version. Okay. Currently, what is the version available? 001 snapshot. If I keep 002 snapshot, then another jar file will be uploaded. Another version jar file. So whenever there is a code change, then developers will change the version of the project. How we have iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone 15. Similarly, for our project also, versions will be available. With the 00 version, with the 001 version, one repository, one artifact is uploaded. So with this 001 snapshot, our project artifact uploaded to Nexus. When there is some code change in the project, they will change the version to 002 snapshot. I change it to 002 snapshot. Then let me execute the build again. mvn clean package, clean deploy. I changed the version in the pom.xml. Clean deploy. mvn clean deploy. Now, it will upload the artifact into Nexus with a different version now. The version is changed. Snapshot only, different version. It will go to the snapshot repository with a different version jar file. Yes, again you can see it is uploading to the Nexus. This time 002 snapshot version. Earlier 001 snapshot, now it is 002 snapshot. Project under development. In the under development model, 2 versions available, 001, 002. Yes, build success, uploaded to the Nexus. Go to this snapshot, browse snapshot repository. Now you can see 001 snapshot, 002 snapshot. In the 001 snapshot, project jar file available. In the 002 snapshot also, jar file available. 2 versions of the project jar file. So this jar is called artifact of the project. So this artifact is used for backup. So tomorrow when I want to get particular version jar file, I can download and I can deploy that particular version. Artifactory server means which is used to store the build artifacts. When you build your project, a jar file or war file will be created. To store that jar file or war file, we are using these artifacts. Now,
Sir, how many jar file they can store as a backup?
You can store any number, no problem. Okay. Now, my project development is completed. When my project development is completed, what I will do here? Version will be changed to release. Okay. So this is the first production release we are giving. Let me go to the pom.xml. Let me change the version to release 1.0. The first release of the project we have done. Change the version to release 1.0. Close this. Now, currently check it. Do we have anything in the release repository in the Nexus? Currently, do we have anything in the release repository of the Nexus?
No.
No, we don't have anything in the release repository. Now let me go and execute clean deploy again. MBN clean deploy. Now the artifact should be uploaded to which repository? Snapshot repository or release repository?
Release.
Release repository. Why it should go to release repository? The version is having release tag. Yes, MBN clean deploy. MBN clean deploy goal is available. Now you check it.
Sir, how many versions will be on snapshot and release?
You can keep any number, sir. There is no limit. Generally, people will keep 10 versions or 5 versions. It depends. You can keep any number of versions. Now you can see it is going to upload the artifact into release repository because the version tag is having release keyword. Yeah, build got success. Now you go to the release repository. Now release 1.0 version is uploaded. Release 1.0 jar file is available. Release 1.0 jar file is available for the project. So like this, if you go to the browse, in the snapshot we uploaded 2 versions. In the release we uploaded 1 version. So like this, based on the version tag value, it will identify that should go to which repository in the Nexus. So what I have done, I have installed I configured the Nexus as a Docker container. Then I created 2 repositories in the Nexus. One is a snapshot repository, another one is release repository. So once we have created these repositories, then we configured them. Okay, create repositories by selecting Maven to hosted. Create repositories by selecting Maven to hosted. Okay, policy you can select a policy based on the requirement. Select a policy. Then, so once the snapshot repository is created, note down the URLs like below. After repository created, note down the repository URLs. After repository is created, note down repository URLs like below. So I created snapshot repository and release repository. I have taken those 2 URLs. Then we are integrating the Nexus repository with our Maven project. The first step, step 1, configure the repository details in the pom.xml file like below. Then step 2, Nexus credentials we are configuring in the Maven settings.xml. If you don't know how to do the Maven setup, I have given the video. Just go through this video and configure Maven in the Windows. Then this is the location where Maven is available. I will go to the conf directory, Maven folder, there settings.xml file. Under server stack, I will configure my server, Nexus username, Nexus password. Once you configure, once these details are configured, then we can run below Maven goal to upload the build artifact to Nexus, go to the project and MVN clean deploy. So which repository you are going to use? So same, whatever the repository we used for our Sonar, same repository I'm going to use. Clone this Git repository. Okay. Integrate Maven with this one. So the first step, clone Git repository. In this Git repository, we are integrating the Nexus. This is our step 0. Clone the Git repository, then configure the repository details in the form.xml, then configure the Nexus credentials in the settings.xml, then final step, do the MVN clean deploy goal execution, then it will upload the artifact into Nexus repository. That is the process.
Sure, in this process, like it is var jar file, it is being created through this server only. So we need in pipeline, we will deploy that var jar
How
file.
we will do in the pipeline, we will discuss that. First, you do the manual practice. Okay, once you are clear with the manual process, then we will see automation process. When you go for pipeline, all this setup is not required. This is only for manual setup, manual integration. Integrate Maven application with the Nexus, manual process. When we go for Jenkins, there we will do the automation.
If it is in the Node.js, the steps will be changed, right, sir?
Yes, sir, will change. Project to project will change.
So, sir, the release to the artifact, the release process which we now release to the artifact, is it the same release when we do like the software release?
Yes, yes. Whenever you are releasing also, the artifact will be uploaded, then only it will be deployed. Directly we don't deploy. Whenever you are going for the production release also, first we will do the artifact upload, then only the deployment will happen. Because this is involved. This artifact uploading process comes into picture whenever the project build is happening. As part of the build process only we will do. Once the build is completed, then we will go for the deployment. Right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So we are good, guys. With this we understood what is the Nexus and how to work with the Nexus. So please do this practice before coming to tomorrow's session. One more topic is pending in the Nexus, that is how to deal with the remote repositories in the Nexus, that we are going to discuss tomorrow.
If it is any version errors will be coming, then the old version will be deployed.
Yes, old version anyhow will be available as a backup. Na? You can take that backup version and you can upload that. You can deploy that basically.
So how to fetch those jars if I want, like
whenever you upload that, the URL is generated for that. If you click on that URL, it will be downloaded.
Okay.
So whenever you see whatever the jar is uploaded, release that jar. When you click on the release version, when you click on this jar file, there is the path. Jar file path is available. If you click on that, that jar will be downloaded.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
From the Maven also, it is different, right, sir?
Yes.
Like that from the Jenkins pipeline.
In the Jenkins pipeline, different approach, sir. So when you go, currently this is, as I told you, as of now.
We need to revert means we can.
We will see that. So we will discuss on that. First,
okay.
You make yourself comfortable with the manual. Sonar, Nexus we covered. So Sonar integration, how we have done with the project, there also we have done the manual process. Nexus also we are doing manually. So when we go for the automation, when we go for the final projects, so everything, all these tools we will configure in the Jenkins pipeline, final CI/CD pipeline. So you no need to install these, configure these URLs, credentials manually. Everything will be automated. As part of our project sessions, we are going to learn that.
So that jar file in project, the jar file in pipeline, the required jar file will be taken through Nexus only.
Yes, you can do that. You can take it.
Okay.
And I think, sir, these steps we need to do when we are developing a Scratch project. In locally, we need to configure and we need to test it. It is working
Yes,
or not,
this
right?
is for our understanding purpose.
Yes.
First, you need to learn the subject first, right? For this, we are doing this manual. In the real time, automation will be there. So that's why after all the tools completed, we plan project sessions, right? In the project sessions, we will integrate all these things. Okay, good.